Hey guys, what's up? So before we get into today's video, just a few things I wanted to say. For starters, thank y'all guys so much for all of the love y'all guys have been showing on the past two videos I've uploaded. I didn't really expect anybody to watch it or like it actually, so that was just really cool to see some love on it. So I'm definitely going to try my hardest to keep uploading on this channel and making some content for you guys. If there are literally any videos Vanguard related that y'all guys want to see, I would love some suggestions down in the comment section, whether that be deck profiles, how I got into Vanguard, what I like to play, why I like Tachikaze. That would just be really cool. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of come to y'all guys and just say thank you, really. So yeah. What's up guys, welcome back to another Dynamite video. Today we are going to be taking a look at a Tachikaze True Ancient Dino budget build. So whenever I got the news that we were getting Phantom Dragon Aeon, the set, I saw the Tachi cards and I realized that there was a budget build coming back for the Ancient Dragons. And I was super excited about it. I decided to go ahead and play area, throw a deck list together and try it out against some friends from my locals. And I had a ton of fun with the deck. I definitely do not think it is as strong as Anger Blader due to the fact that it really relies on you hitting your front triggers. And we'll get a little bit more into that deeper into this video. But yeah, this is the budget build. This deck is actually super affordable right now, especially the build I'm about to discuss with y'all guys. And it's definitely, personally, one of my favorite budget builds right now in Vanguard. I think that this is a great deck for people to actually get introduced into Tachikaze, and I just think it's super fun. So yeah, if y'all guys want to see some playtesting of this deck, just let me know down in the comments below. But without that, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile itself. We're obviously running Minium Carno. This is the new starter we got in the new set. I think it's pretty cool. The boss card of this deck, the main grade 3, is True Ancient Dragon Bodramus. So this card is really neat. The first skill is Act. Once per turn, you can retire a rear guard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, search your deck for up to one card with Ancient Dragon in its card name, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck, and it gets 5k until end of turn. And then its second skill, this skill we will see repeated through all of the True Ancient Dragon cards. Auto, Vanguard or Rear Guard, once per turn, when your drive check reveals a front trigger, you may have this unit get crit +1 until end of turn. So this is where the fun comes into the deck. Now notice that the crit skill on the front is only once per turn. So if we are on grade 3 turn and we drive check 2 fronts, our whole front row will still get both of the power from the front triggers, but they will only receive 1 critical each because it is a once per turn skill. Moving along is True Ancient Dragon Barrel Tops. Barrel Tops is going to be your main target for Bladrimus. Simply, or Bladrimus, I'm sorry, this name is so just weird, but this is your main target for Bladrimus. Its skill, Vanguard or Rear Guard, when placed, if you have a Vanguard with Ancient Dragon in its card name, you can counterblast 1, draw a card, and it gets 5k. And then it of course has the other skill. It's going to get a crit whenever we hit a front. So this combos well with this because it doesn't say placed from hand, it just says placed. So we can, for no counterblast, no soul blast, we can call this down and search them out. And then for 1 counterblast, we can draw a card and give this thing 10k using both of their skills. So that's really the play you'll end up making a lot with the deck. Now moving on to our grade 2s. So we are running 4 True Ancient Dragon Heft Styraco. So this is another great target for Bladrimus. He has a skill Continuous on rear guard. If it's on an additional rear guard circle, this unit cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects, and it gets 5k. So continuously, it's a 14k beater that can't be retired. This is really good, and it works really well with the deck. It also has that second skill that we see with all the other True Ancient Dragons, that it can also get a crit whenever we see a front. The next grade 2 we are running is 4 True Ancient Dragon Alanoris. So this has a really cool skill. When placed from hand, you can counterblast 1, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, call up to 1 card with Ancient Dragon and its card name from among them to rear guard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And then he, of course, has the once per turn skill. Whenever we hit a front, he gets a crit. This card's pretty good. I really wish that it was top 5, maybe top 4. but the top 3 will definitely help if, let's say, you know, we did top 5, we only saw, you know, 1 Styraco or one of our Blodromus, and then we saw 3 triggers. Well, now we have to put those 3 fronts or whatever they are to the bottom of the deck. So I understand why it's at 3, but it kind of makes it underwhelming for just 1 counterblast. He's really in it because in this deck at 4 because he has the name True Ancient Dragon. We are playing 1 copy of Ravenous Dragon Megarex. So everything in this deck is played at a 4 of, except this card and the starter, of course. But the reason this card is in the deck is because we needed to find a fill spot. An area I used, I think it was a promo grade 1 whenever it's retired. 3 of your front row units get plus 3k, or 3 of your units get 3k. The reason why we chose to run another grade 2 is because we are only running 8 grade 2s without him, and so I felt, you know, we're running I think 16 grade 1s, so I definitely wanted to kind of beef up the grade 2 slot. And this card's actually not terrible. He's optimally in the deck because we want to ride him. If we can ride him, then we can kill something off that's not crazy valuable to us, or one of our combo pieces in this deck. And because of that, he's in the deck because it helps draw. And worst case scenario, we can call him down on an Excel circle, use his skill to kill something, give him a gauge, and he's swinging for 14. So that's why he's in the deck. Moving on to our grade 1s, and this is where I might start getting a little bit of hate. So we are running 4 Savage Priestess. This is the grade 1 PG for Tachikaze. When it's placed, you can draw a card and discard a card from your hand. I ran some grade 1 PGs also in 7Cs. It's mainly in here because we need as many fronts as we can have in the deck. And I don't want to play Crit Sense, and I definitely don't want to play any Sentinels at all. So worst case scenario, we get this into hand. We can always just ride it if we don't have another grade 1 and filter our hand out, but it's mainly in the deck because we still need to protect ourselves. And this is our way to do that while making room for all the fronts. We have got 4 True Ancient Dragon Terra Feed. This is a great grade 1 for this deck. You want to have this out kind of early game for its skills. So the first skill is Vanguard Rearguard. Whenever its attack or the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard, you can look at the top 7 cards from your top of your deck, call up to 1 card with Ancient Dragon in its card name from among them to Rearguard as rest, and shuffle your deck. It also has the skill to give it a crit whenever we see a front. You want this card behind Van as soon as you can, especially early game. And, you know, it kind of combos with Alaniris because you can simply ride Alaniris, this is behind it, and then whenever it hits, if it does hit, you're going to be able to chalk top 7, and you're also checking top 3 with this card. And like we talked about hitting some of your triggers, this card kind of fixes that because you can ride this, counterblast 1, check the top 3. Let's say worst case scenario, you hit a PG, a heal, and a front. That's not good. They go to the bottom of the deck. That's not where we want them. If it hits, you can simply use his skill, check top 7. You don't have to call anything. You mainly want to do it just because you're able to shuffle your deck afterwards and get those triggers back in there to where you can see them. So this is a great card, and I really like it in the deck. Next up, we are running 4 Vicious Claw Dragon Lacerex. So Lacerex is our retire target in this deck. Our main grade 3, ooh, that is definitely not him. Our main grade 3, Blodromus, requires us to engorge, technically, one of our own rear guards to use his ability in Superior Call. So we need to retire cards that benefit from being retired. And this is one of those cards that works in the deck. So Lacerex is really cool. Whenever he's placed from hand, you can put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for this unit. And whenever it would be retired from Rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1, and if you do, you can return up to 1 of its gauges to your hand. So this combos well with Blodromus and Barrel Tops because we are able to retire this, use its skill, get a card back to our hand, call out Barrel Tops, counterblast 1, draw another card, and it gets 10k. So this card is a combo piece essentially in this deck, and it's kind of like a really small engine that we have in here. Moving along, we have 4 copies of True Ancient Dragon Albert Tail. Albert Tail is a great grade 1 in this deck, and this is why. So continuous on Vanguard or Rearguard. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Ancient Dragon in its card name, it's going to get 5k, making it a 13k booster. It's kind of like a lot of the grade 3 searchers, except this requirement is super easy because we're already normally 90% of the time going to be on an Ancient Dragon Vanguard. And then he also has the skill that, you know, whenever our drive check reveals a front, he's going to get a crit. So this is great because you can literally have these behind all 3 of your front row units, and you know, once we hit the front with a boost from this, it's a really big number, and because it's swinging with a crit, it's more pressure to guard. Worst case scenario, you can actually just call this onto an Excel circle and make it an 18k beater. So worst case scenario, we can always do that. So now we are out of our normal units, so we're going to go into the trigger lineup. We are running 4, 8, 12 fronts. What a shocker. Now I have a buddy who has God Hand, and he runs 16 fronts. I don't think you can run 16 fronts in Tachikaze right now. I think these are actually the only 3 fronts that we have in the deck. I might be wrong, but I think 12 is plenty. The deck can kind of hold its own if you don't see a ton of fronts, but you still want a decent amount. That's why we're running the grade 1 PG. That way we can afford to run these 12 front triggers. And then finally, we are running our 4 heal. I know that some people will debate and say that it is a good idea to run nothing but fronts. I don't agree with that statement, just because if you don't see them, you die. Like, you don't want to take away the healing mechanic from your deck, because in most situations, it ends up making the game longer. Not running heals kills you faster than if you have heals. That's what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, overall, I have seen some deck profiles for this budget build, and honestly, some of them have been trying to splash the whole gauge engine into them with some of the new Gaia support that we got, running, you know, Blue Sprint or Regiodon, the cards that when they're retired, you can call from their gauge. And while, yes, that can work, I chose to go with more of a consistent, just pure True Ancient Dino build. I wanted as many True Ancient Dinos as I could have in the deck, have a really good retire target, and then just play the deck from there. I think if you want a more consistent build that you don't have to splash as much stuff into, this is probably the build I would recommend. If I'm going to recommend this deck to anyone, I will probably recommend this build. That is my deck profile on True Ancient Dragon's budget build. If y'all guys would like to see some play testing of this deck, just let me know down in the comments below, and I appreciate y'all guys. See you later.